Hello, I'm Chris or Krissy of Krissy's Over the Mountain Crochet, and we are working on sample 4 today of the Heirloom Shells Sampler Baby Blanket. We're on the last sample. After this sample is finished, then we will work on the border. The border is lovely, but I love this stitch. It's a 4-row repeat, and it has a right side and a wrong side. So the shell is the right side of your work. Okay, so let's talk about this shell. This shell is simple. It is 7 double crochets in the space indicated. This sample has 2 special stitches. It has a V. This is a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in a chain 3 space. As we make the first base, we have all of these 7 double crochet shells, which is shell 4 in the pattern, then a single crochet, chain 3, skip a space, and a single crochet. Then the V's will go in all of these chain 3 spaces. Then when you come back through, then you put your 7 double crochet shell in the chain 2 space of that V. It is a 4-row repeat because the shells stagger. If the shells were on top of each other, which they are on top of each other, but there is a stagger in between. So it's a 4-row repeat, and it's a fun repeat. Let's get started. So let's get started on row 56. Now we will be single crocheting all the way across this row, and remember we need to have 85 single crochets. So I'll chain 1 and turn, and single crochet in the top of this double crochet, and I will execute 2 single crochets in this chain 1 space. A single crochet in the double crochet, and a single crochet in this chain 1 space, and then a single crochet in the double crochet and in each double crochet across. So it's very simple. The rest of the row is single crochets in every double crochet across. I'll get that done for you, and you single crochet in every double crochet until you get to this chain 1 space at the end right here, and I'll meet you there. So I'm at the end of the row. I am at this chain 1 space. I have 83 single crochets across. I'm wanting 85. So single crochet in the chain 1 space, and then single crochet by dipping down into that chain 2 space, pulling up the loop a little bit, and single crochet. I have 85 single crochets in this row. Now I'm going to chain 2 and turn and start executing the double crochet, chain 1 spaces across that make the beading row. That beading row is what holds that lace for you. So double crochet in the first single crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, skip that stitch, double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet, and that's how this proceeds all the way across the row. We'll end up with 43 double crochets at the end of this row. Then we will chain 1, turn, and single crochet in each double crochet and chain across. We've done that several times. I'm going to meet you at the end of that single crochet row just to save some video time. And I'll be back at the end of the beading rows. So I'm at the end of the last beading row. The first beading row was a base of single crochets across, making sure that was 85 single crochets, then a row of single crochet, double crochet across. This is the area you can add the lace, add the satin ribbon, whatever you choose to do. You don't have to. It makes just it makes a nice transition from one sample to the next. It's a beautiful stitch and it's on its own. It doesn't have to be embellished. But here we go. Single crochet in the last chain one space, single crochet in that last double crochet. Or you can do what I like to do. Put my hook down in that chain two space, pull up the loop a little taller, and single crochet. That makes a nice transition. Keeps that, and it makes a smooth edge. That's a technique I like to use a lot. So now let's chain two and turn. Double crochet in the first stitch, chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next, making the mesh at the end. You're familiar with this. Now we're going to need to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. But if I skip 3 stitches and come over, it's going to create a bit of a pull. So I'm going to add a chain 1 space here. This is the only place that I add the chain 1 space. So skip 3 stitches and execute a shell 4 in this stitch. And a shell 4 is 7 double crochets, and it gets a little tight when we're laying this foundation for the shell sample. Putting 7 double crochets in this stitch. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 7. All right, it's a beautiful stitch. It's a 7 double crochet shell, but this is shell 4 because we're in sample 4. All right, so now we skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and single crochet. Chain 3, skip 1 stitch, and single crochet in the next. Skip 2 stitches and shell 4. 1, 2, shell 4. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. And 7. Okay, 1, 2, skip 2, and a single crochet. 2, 3, chain 3, skip a stitch, and a single crochet. And that is how the pattern goes across. So next we would skip 2, a shell 4, skip 2, single crochet, chain 3, skip that 1 stitch, and single crochet. Skip 2, shell 4, and across. And I'll meet you at the end of the row. All right, so I have executed the repeats across the row. I'm at the last shell right before we do the mesh edge, and I want to show you how, just like at the beginning, we executed a chain 1, and we're going to skip 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then double crochet in the next stitch. This chain 1 is just to keep a pull from happening. Chain 1, skip this stitch, and double crochet in the last stitch. Chain 2, we're moving on. Remember this is the right side of your work. The rows where you execute the shells, it is the right side of your work. So we chained 2 and turned. We will execute a double crochet in the top of that double crochet. Chain 1, execute a double crochet in the top of this double crochet. Now, we're going into a second portion of the pattern. So we will chain 3, single crochet in the peak or the 4th stitch of that 7 double crochet shell, chain 3, and then execute a V in this chain 3 space. And the V is double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Just put your hook right under that chain space. Now it's simple. Chain 3, this row is simple. Single crochet in the peak stitch of the previous shell. and then a V, double crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, V in the chain 3 space, and then you know what's next. Chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, a V, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, a V. I'll meet you at the end of the row. We're at the end of the round. We have executed the V rows. This is the wrong side of the work. I'm at the end, and I have just executed a chain 3, and I will single crochet in that peak stitch, chain 3, and double crochet in the double crochet, chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet in the next double crochet, chain 2, and turn. All right, I have chain 2 and turned. I'm going to double crochet in the top of that double crochet. Let me get both loops. Chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, and double crochet in the top of the next double crochet. Okay, I'm going to chain 2 right here. This chain 2 is not part of the pattern. Now we start executing the pattern, which is single crochet in the chain 3 space, chain 3, skip the single crochet and single crochet in the next chain 3 space, and now we execute a shell 4 right here in the V. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Much easier to put the shell in this space than in a stitch. All right, so continue in the pattern. Chain 3, single crochet in the chain 3 space, skip the single crochet, chain 3, single crochet in the chain 3 space. All right, and then it's a 7 double crochet shell, or a shell 4 right in this V. Then it is a single crochet, chain 3, skip the single crochet and single crochet right here, then a shell 4, then single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, shell 4. I'll do that across the row and I will meet you at the end. Okay, so we're moving right along. I am at the end of this row. The last sequence I executed was a single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. Now I need to make the mesh portion, but I'm going to chain 2, double crochet in that double crochet stitch, chain 1, double crochet in that last stitch. All right, now we're going to chain 2 and turn. 1, 2, and turn, double crochet in the double crochet, chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet, in the next stitch, chain 2, and V in this chain 3 space. Double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. All right, Now you know what the next one is. Chain 3, single crochet in the peak, chain 3, and a V. So let's do that. It's an easy pattern to remember. Chain 3, single crochet in the peak, chain 3, execute a V, chain 3, single crochet in the peak, chain 3, and a V. Chain 3, single crochet in the peak, chain 3 and a V, chain 3, single crochet in the peak. That's how that goes throughout the rest of the pattern. I'll meet you at the end of the row. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row. I'm getting ready to execute this mesh portion. So in the pattern it tells you to chain 2, 1, 2, and then double crochet in the top of this double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, putting the hook down in that chain 2 space, chain 2, and turn. Whoops, lost my loop. All right, double crochet in the top of the double crochet. You're familiar with this. Chain 1, double crochet in the top of this double crochet, and now we will execute a shell 4 right here in this, in the top of this V. So that's 7 double crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then we single crochet in this chain 3 space, chain 3, single crochet, and then a shell, and then a single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, a shell, single crochet, chain 3, a shell. I'll meet you at the end of the row. Okay, so we are at the end of this row, and I've executed the last shell. So now it's a double crochet in the top of this double crochet, chain 1, we're making a mesh, and then put your hook down in that chain 2 space, and a double crochet, and we are at the end of the repeats. We have executed the 4-row repeat. So the 4-row repeat is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I am going to execute one more row, because to finish sample 4, we need to go ahead and execute a round of beading stitches. I will get that next row ready, because that last row you land on will need to be row 60, will need to be a mimic of this, or be a repeat of this row where we have the chain 3 spaces and chain 3 with a single crochet in the top of the V, where we have the single crochet in the peak of the shell and then the V. So that row needs to be executed before I can do the beading rows. So I'll get that done, and then I'll come back and we'll go over the beading rows. There's a special tip that we need to do at the end, so I'll be back in just a few. All right, so I have executed the V stitch row that will be the base for the first beading row, for the first single crochet row of the beading row. And it's important that I go ahead and show you this. This is the last transition, because the border will be after the beading rows. So let me get you started on the beading rows. At each end in this first chain 1 space, you will need 2 single crochets. So let me go ahead and execute a single crochet in this first double crochet, 2 single crochets right here because we need 85 stitches. 2 single crochets, and then a double crochet, a single crochet in that 1 double crochet. Now here's how the pattern works. There will be 2 single crochets in the chain 3 space, another single crochet in this, not another, but a single crochet in the single crochet space, and 2 single crochets in the chain 3 space. Now in the V, you execute 1 single crochet in the double crochet, 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space, and then a single crochet in the double crochet. All right, and we are back to the chain 3 spaces. So it's 2 single crochets in that chain 3 space, a single crochet in the single crochet, 2 single crochets in the chain 3 space. Now we are back at the V, and it's a single crochet in the double crochet, a single crochet in the chain 2 space, and a single crochet in the double crochet, and you execute that all the way across. And then this last chain 1 space, you need to put 2 single crochets right there. All right, so follow the pattern, the written pattern, and then this will help you. Now I'm going to go ahead and execute the double crochet and chain 1 rows, and then I will be on the last row of the beading row when I come back to you. I have some things to tell you. I have completed the beading row all except for the last single crochet in the beading rows, and here's what I need to tell you. I need to tell you that if you are going to have a border that is a contrasting color, this last row in the beading row, and I have this written in the pattern instructions. It is written in the instructions, but this last row, this last single crochet row, you need to change colors right here because this last single crochet row will be part of the border. So make your last double crochet, and on the last pull through, drop this color and pull in your new color. All right, if you are going to have a contrasting border. And this is exciting. We're at the border now. I'm so excited. I hope you have enjoyed all of the samples of this crochet along. Aren't they pretty? This right here, this is just pretty as it is, I think. The nice shells, this is the wrong side, obviously, the shells. And when you make the turn to execute that last single crochet row, pay attention and make sure that the right side is looking at you. You will not be executing any turns during the border. From here on out, you will have the right side facing you. You should have placed a marker in sample 2, and sample 4 is obvious. This is the right side of your work. So the right side of your work will be this single crochet row across, and if you are changing colors for your border, this last row of single crochets should be a contrasting border. But aren't these pretty? Sample 4, sample 3, sample 2, and sample 1. A nice little sampling of shell stitches. I hope you've learned something. I hope you'll enjoy the border. You can put your own border on this, but I have an extra special lace border that I hope you will enjoy. And I'll see you at the border video. Bye.